An owner's vision and decisions shape the organization's culture, strategic direction, and overall success, influencing everything from employee morale to customer satisfaction. Recognizing this impact is important, but recognition isn't enough. As a business owner, you need to analyze everything you do and understand why you do it. And to talk about this today, I'm pleased to welcome a regular guest, Chuck Violand, the founder of Violand Management Associates. Chuck, welcome.
Jeff, thank you very much for having me again. It's great being here.
It's a pleasure. So again, we are doing our big book review, Owner Impact.
Yep.
Chapter 7.
Yep.
I read this the other day, Chuck, and I thought, how can you get it all into one chapter?
It was a very difficult task and a difficult topic to fit into just one chapter and to have it be something that would be relatable. Now, Jeff, in a lot of ways, what it was writing about what I've written about for the last 35 years and trying to condense it down into 13 pages. And that's no surprise that that's one of the reasons that this is one of the largest chapters in the book. But it was, I mean, it was a lot of editing, and fortunately I have a great editor here at the company who was able to help me do that. But it was a fun task.
I know, Chuck, I've received your Monday morning notes forever, so I know a lot of information there must have gone into your thought process for the chapter. But let's get started and talk about the first two paragraphs.
Yep.
We've got to start somewhere. You talk about choices. Can you explain that?
Yeah, actually the choices that I refer to in the book have to do with where employees, high-performing employees specifically, choose to go to work and how those choices are influenced by the behavior of the leader running the company. Now, where the leader's behavior, or their attitudes, their values, their ego, etc., are seen by the employee as not in alignment with what they want to do or not conducive to their values and their career goals, then they're going to find someplace else to go to work where they do have a closer match and where they might have more opportunities for career advancement.
Thank you, Chuck. Then you write about the emotionally intelligent leader. Now, I wonder, jokingly in a way, if you were to poll 100 business owners, are you emotional? What would they say? So can you tell us about that? What did you mean by that, and how much of an impact it has on our discussion today?
It's a huge impact, Jeff. And I will admit that if business owners were being honest with themselves, I would guess that most of them would say that they're emotional because it is an emotional job. But that's not what I meant by emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, as I use it in the book, is a term that was coined by psychologist Daniel Goleman, a real prolific author in the work that he did with business leaders. Broadly speaking, emotional intelligence has to do with a person's ability to recognize and manage their own behaviors. It's different than IQ, which is our intellectual quotient. Emotional intelligence, or EQ as it's sometimes called, has 5 main domains. In layman's terms, those domains are self-awareness, self-management, drive, empathy, and relationship management. Now, tons of studies over the years have been conducted that show that people who exhibit a high EQ perform better in their jobs, and they also have greater chances of success in their careers, as well as their businesses. Now, the good news is that while our IQs aren't going to vary too much from when we're little to when we grow up into adults, we can intentionally and significantly increase our EQ, our emotional intelligence, which will increase our chances of success, either as a business owner or in our careers.
Chuck, just thinking about that, thank you for that. Anytime we talk about IQ, I get a little nervous myself, but that's just me. All right. You list several traits an owner can display throughout the chapter. I mean, there were many. And by the way, I didn't count the pages, but it was a thick chapter, as you mentioned. And feel free to pick a few favorites and share some thoughts on those. But the one I want you to focus on is a big one, I think, to everybody, and that's micromanagement. Can you talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Micromanagement is a big issue with many small business owners. And it's a major reason why many owners never scale their companies beyond just themselves or a handful of employees. These owners want to be able to control everything in their environment, everything in the business. And as I like to say, this is neither good nor bad, right or wrong. It just is. But if you want to grow your business that isn't dependent on you, then it is a big deal. Let me give you an example. And it's a subtle one. Just recently, this just happened to me recently. I had a conversation with an owner who was growing a very successful business. He had been in business for a couple of years, and he was growing a nice business. Now, he had big ambitions for his business, but there was one task that he simply did not want to give up and delegate to somebody else because he felt it was too important for somebody else to do. He wanted to control it. So after a long discussion about how there was nothing particularly unique about this task or how he was handling it, and how every other business owner of larger companies had successfully handed this task off to an employee, he finally saw how this was a bottleneck on his own future growth. He seemed to get it, but the conversation was pretty recent, and so I think the jury's still out on how it's going to work out. Now, as far as what can be done about micromanaging, Jeff, there are a million different reasons owners micromanage. Negative past experiences, a need for control, their egos, fear of success. I mean, the list goes on. And there are usually no quick or easy solutions to it. Sometimes it just takes time, self-reflection, lots of conversations and discussion. And I will tell you that sometimes they never do change it.
Well, I hope that whatever issue that owner has, Chuck, with that task he can't give up, he does, and you're able to see success there.
Me too.
Every chapter you write has a case study, a story, and you have one about Bob. Chuck, I have to ask, what about Bob?
What about Bob? Yeah, Bob. Well, Bob was not one of my clients. Bob was one of our consultants' clients, and it was his story. But I will tell you, Jeff, I've worked with lots of Bobs over my career, and everyone's a little bit different. So maybe I can use an example of a young, inexperienced business owner who has had some success launching his business. He's learned through his experience that the way he manages his business has helped him achieve the success that he has. To an extent, he's right. Okay, but now he's struggling to keep his business growing. The adrenaline, the micromanaging, the other behaviors that got him to this point are no longer working. In other words, what got him to this point isn't going to get him to where he wants to go. So this is where emotional intelligence, or at least the self-awareness and self-management piece of it, comes into play. Now, if Bob can realize that it's his behaviors and not his technical skills, like cleaning, drying, selling, etc., that's stalling his company, and if he's willing to go to work on those behaviors, then he has a pretty good shot at continuing to grow his company. At the end of the day, this is what happened to the Bob in our story. He did grow, he recognized how it was limiting, and he was able to flourish in his business.
Well, Chuck, I know everyone thought about the movie when I asked that question, but and Bob didn't turn out so well in the movie, but it sounds like your Bob is okay. So that's good to hear. Go, Bob. My last official question, Chuck, is about what I thought was kind of funny, because I'm going to get myself in trouble here, but it seems like most entrepreneurs have, you might say, big egos, inflated egos. I could be wrong, but what are your thoughts there? Because I know you wrote about that as well. Egos.
Yeah, egos are a big deal, without a doubt. Okay, at least in my experience. And look, I'm a business owner with a big ego. I am no exception. As business owners, we've been conditioned this way as we've succeeded. Okay, we strike out on our own and launch a business, which already takes a pretty healthy ego to think that we can beat the odds of survival and then succeeding. But maybe we do beat these odds, and we do enjoy some success. We make some money. We get a title. They call us boss. People listen to us. They start asking for our opinions. They start saying nice things about us. Maybe even they start talking about or writing about our success. What's not to like about that, right? But then we start believing that we had more to do with our success than we really did. We overlook, or we forget about, or we ignore all the people or events that helped along the way, or just the dumb luck that we had. If we're not careful, Jeff, we start believing that our future success is preordained, or that we can't fail. When this happens, or when we start making business decisions based on the way they're going to make us look or feel, rather than on good business data or good business purposes, we've set ourselves up for a fall. And Jeff, I can tell you this much. In my experience, when a business owner ego is out of control, it's never a question of if, but it's a question of when their business is going to stall. It's only a matter of time. It always catches up with them. And this is sad because it's all preventable and it's all within our own control.
Chuck, that was powerful. And I hope those watching are honest with themselves about their own egos, because your last words there, anyone with a big ego, everyone's going to run from that.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So if you're a business owner, I hate to think that people would run away as employees or as clients as well. So good stuff.
Thank you.
Let's wrap up. Any final words you'd like to share? Tell our audience right now.
Oh, absolutely. I always love that question when you ask me that, Jeff. Okay, look, if you're serious about building a team that will help you build your business, the place to start is always by looking in the mirror. Okay, what skills do you need to work on to attract the right people to your company? Let's face it, the people you currently have in your company and the ones that you're going to attract in the future are a reflection of you. If you've already got the right ones on your team, congratulations, keep it up. But if they're not, then you need to get to work on becoming the kind of leader that will attract them.